Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are doing well. We're coming in here for our Thursday night wrap up with our one game for the night, and what a good game it was with the Storm and the Panthers. We had a super close score, and I tipped the Storm and the chance of them getting that penalty goal at the end, and then that try. I can't believe Olam didn't pass the ball, but anyway, we move on. We have a bunch of different scores and a few that I'm not happy about to start with, but we look up top and we got Cam Munster with 81, and this is a really good example of showing why you should keep the faith with guns. And there's someone coming up in a couple of games' time that I think is a really high chance of doing the same thing in Cody Walker. Munster and him are very similar in that way. They're not big on the kick meter stats and all that sort of stuff, but when they're getting the run meters, they get the tackle breaks, they're scoring tries. This type of thing is going to be really important for someone like Walker, but also Munster there. And he picked up 195 meters last night, 5 tackle breaks, got 2 turnover tackles as well, which he won't get generally, but the forced dropouts are there. So that was really good for him and for anyone who decided to keep him in their squad. When he's a 667k, that's pricing him in at just under a 50 average. So for him to be averaging 60 across the first 3 rounds, anyone who would have brought him in at the start would be really happy, and well done for that pick. Unfortunately, Mr. Burton doesn't get to play enough games for us to pick him up, but he's always been a gun when he plays, and that's why his price is at 449, 73 points, and he's going to be great come next year. Or if it happens to be an injury to Cleary, especially, which let's hope not. But Burton, great work. Capewell, another one where you should be keeping the faith. Yes, they had an injury to Edwards, which made sure that he played the extra minutes and the full 80. They also had an injury to Martin at the end of the game, which is interesting. I think it looks like he should be okay. We haven't heard anything out on him yet, but pays to keep the faith on someone like Capewell. Yes, he picked up 5 missed tackles. Yes, he scored a try at the end, but without that try, he's sitting pretty close to that 50 for the game in the 80 minutes. And that's what we expect for someone like Capewell. And when he's priced at 515, anywhere near a 50 average makes him 150 to 200k undervalued. So really cool for Capewell. And it seems to be a very big trend this year with all the edge forwards getting lots of tries. And I feel like that makes sense. Everyone's getting tired through the middle, and then they punch through, getting one-on-one with a smaller guy or with a tired forward one-on-one close to the line. And most of the edge forwards these days have so much good footwork, which really helps them. So another try to an edge forward. Brandon Smith, another one where keeping the faith was the smartest option with him. I spoke about him a few times. Just 45 is going to be his base, and then he's going to get some attacking stats at some point over this first little period. And he wasn't someone that was losing your money. He was scoring exactly to his value. So for him to score a try, he did get 15 minutes on the bench, but 64 points was great for anyone who kept the faith with him. Isaiah keeps doing his thing. He got 80 minutes again, which is interesting. Just want a few of those minutes to go to Spencer Liniu. What do you all reckon, guys? Geez, he'd be such a point per minute beast if he got some extra minutes. But Jerome Hughes, again, was losing a little bit of cash, scoring around that 44 mark over the first 2 games, and then picked up 51. And this is going to be around his base, and he's now his average is at what his price. So no issues with him. You wouldn't want to be trading him out or going sideways. A lot of people were like, oh, I'll trade him to Ben Hunt or something like that. But yeah, you're chasing last week's points or last couple of weeks' points going for those types of guys. So, yep, Hughes was fine with 51. Billy Kickow got the 60 minutes this time. Awesome try saver at the end. Very normal game for him. And you expect that against some of the better sides that he's not going to score a try all the time. But to get 50 was really cool for anyone who has him, but he's not a trade-in target. Nico Hines, also someone that if he was to get some regular playing time at fullback, for example, if Pappy went down, then he'd be a really cool option because he does just do a little bit of everything. 150 meters, 4 tackle breaks. He's got a try assist in there. Got the try saver as well. So a bit of everything and a decent option at half and wing fullback if there was ever an injury to Pappy, for example. But again, we pray and hope for none of that. Nico Hines, we've spoken about. Mitch Kenny, a few people have been thinking about picking him up. Got the 49. So you can see between 45 and 50 is going to be his numbers, just with basically all through tackles. 53 tackles for 3 misses is great. If you picked him up, he's going to make a decent amount of cash over the next few weeks before Appy comes back. But with most of our hooker positions really stacked, I don't see him as being a great option, especially if you didn't pick him up this week. Eisenhuth just getting the same kind of crazy point per minute. 33 tackles in 36 minutes. It's awesome, but again, not an option. He's going to keep losing a little bit of cash. You'd imagine with his average at 41 across the season. Again, if there's an injury to a big minute forward in someone like Isaiah Yeo, then Eisenhuth is someone to think about. Dylan Edwards unfortunately goes down injured, and it looks like he should be out somewhere between 2 to 6 weeks, depending on the severity of his hand injury. So if you have him in your side, that's pretty unfortunate. If it's up around that 3-week mark, I think you're going to have to sell him at this stage. If it's 2 weeks, there's a good chance you can keep him if you've got some cover, I think. I think that would be smart. But yeah, was doing really well, 43 points by the halfway mark. So again, is he going to be a keeper in the center, in the fullback position? I'd try and keep him if it's only a couple of weeks. To'o had a try disallowed, and again, just a very base score for him with 5 tackle breaks and 220 meters. So awesome if you've got him in your side. He'll continue to make a little bit of cash before he starts to bottom out around 650, 660, I believe, will be where he's at. Jerome Lewis played a very similar role to what he normally would with Cleary. Burton took over the majority of the kicking in play with 580 kick meters. I think he had over 400 and a half, which is crazy. But Lewis, 28 tackles for 2 misses, great. That's the kind of base you're looking for with his run meters and his kicking. So 41, not his best score, but nothing to be alarmed about if you have him. Again, he's someone who's just scoring to his average at this stage. So that like borderline keeper level, you'd want him to be getting scores closer to 50 would be ideal for him. But there you go. Kamika with a 40, and he got a few extra minutes at lock this time, but had no attacking stats. So 31 tackles, 113 meters there. Again, making a little bit of cash for anyone who has him. Momorowski is just sort of the gift that keeps on giving, just doing a bit of everything. Got a try assist there, 17 tackles for no misses, a couple of offloads, 1 tackle break, 98 meters. So awesome work for him, 38. Really happy with that. If that's looking at your base for him, then that's awesome. One thing you've got to think about is Naden's possible comeback, but it looks like Momorowski's playing well enough to be able to keep his spot. So well done to him. Big Spencer Leniu, so 27 minutes. How annoying was that? Thanking my lucky stars that he came on for the last couple of minutes and affected that try save with Kickow just getting under the ball there in the end. But for me, imagine he gets some extra minutes. It's a PPM god. But 38, we still take it, and he's average of 36. Puts him at least 100k or so undervalued if he can maintain that scoring. And the odd game, if they have an injury to one of the forwards, he might get some extra minutes. If someone like Leota's not playing that many minutes, but if Fisher Harris gets an injury, for example, then Leniu and Leota would step up, you would imagine. Fisher Harris was a bit frustrating, 37 points in his 51 minutes. So with Isaiah Yeo not going off at all, Fisher Harris got a few less minutes as well. And this negatively affected his score. He didn't get up near that PPM of 1 that he's been accustomed to, and he'll lose a little bit of cash this week. Charlie Staines finally scored a try. So for anyone who kept the faith with him, they've save you a little bit. You only lose a little bit of cash this week, but just doesn't get it as involved as someone like To'o. Only 77 meters when To'o's getting 220 is annoying. So someone I think would be better in Supercoach, just relying on more tries than what he would be in the NRL fantasy game, with him needing more base stats to be a good scorer in our game. Kenny Bromwich, Jesse Brom, both 34 on the dot. There you go. Eisenhuth got injured, and that created some extra minutes for some of the bench forwards for him. Leota, I think, is definitely a sell at this point. He's going to start losing us a little bit of cash for anyone who owns him, and it doesn't look like he's going to get those extra minutes, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. So that's my thoughts on Leota. He didn't get the extra minutes that we thought he would. With guys like Leniu, Eisenhuth on the bench there that are taking the bulk of those extra minutes that were created from Tamau leaving. We move on to Crichton. Again, needs attacking stats for him to be a keeper. He's sort of just hanging in that 400s, and I think that's the only spot he'll be. Oh, Christian Welsh, what are you doing to me? That 50 average you had, mate. What'd you do with it? Trying to kill us all. So any of those price rises I was hoping for with Welsh, averaging around that 50, just going out the window. Is it just me, or did I decide to pick 2 guys that are really good defenders in Tino and Welsh, but they just run out? Why do they chase people? I really just hate him the guy's just running sideways, and he's like, "Yep, I'm going to tackle him. I'm going to tackle him," and then just like puts one hand on him or like dives at his legs and just touches his feet and gets a missed tackle. It is the biggest killer, and I really don't like watching him play or Tino at the moment. It's just so frustrating. I think what I've worked out anyway is this year with the new rules, it's gotten a little bit, obviously a little bit quicker, but the tiredness of the forwards, he's looking gassed after every, 10 minutes into his stint, he's looking gassed, even though he might play the 50 minutes still. 46 this week, which we didn't need. We wanted him to play a couple extra to get closer to 35 or something. But these more consistent middle forwards are going to get those random missed tackles because they try real hard. They'll just throw a hand out or dive at someone, and these guys are a little bit more agile. They're getting all the tackle breaks, and it's just a pain in the ass. So yeah, not sure what to do with Welsh. Obviously, eventually I'm going to be moving him up to a keeper at some point, but whether that's now or a bunch of weeks' time, we'll find out. But yeah, so annoying with Welsh. I'm sure a few people are in the same boat as me. And then there's a few people are laughing at me and going, "Yeah, unlucky. I've got Hudson Young and Tupanua. Stuff you." But anyway, enough on him. And then the rest of the guys, Remus Smith. A few guys were saying, "Yeah, he's a good option, but he's still going to be rocks and diamonds. He's going to get a 15, and then he's going to get a 40, and then he's going to get a 10." The only thing that saved him in this game was his tackles. 23 tackles for 2 misses. They just ran it at him all night. 51 meters is terrible for a centre. You want to be up near at least 80 to 100, surely, which gives him a chance to have an offload or a tackle bust or something like that. But and then I had a message from someone on Facebook this morning saying, "Oh, you didn't reply to my message. I got Olam and traded him in for Roberts." I think I had mentioned it a bunch of times on the video, plus in comments to lots of people about Olam, and that he's never been a keeper and he's not going to be. He had one really good game in a 50-odd last game and then a 35 in the first one, which is decent as well. But this is more like what he's going to score. Yes, he could have scored that try and be up in the 30s, but yeah, just that triggered me a little bit, that comment. I was just like, I've mentioned on there, and Roberts is playing this week. I don't know why you trade him out. But anyway, it's enough on that one. And then, a couple of bench forwards got that 20 minutes for the Storm with Smoothie. A few people brought him in, but he's definitely not going to be making any cash, even with 21 minutes there. So there you go, guys. That's the Thursday wrap up. If you're enjoying these, please hit like and subscribe. I appreciate it greatly. And we'll see you in the Friday wrap up. Good luck with the rest of the weekend, guys. We'll see you soon.